There we go.
Okay, so this is RT, and this is part of Freeside. RT and Freeside are basically integrated. We use RT for our ticketing system, and that's what RT is what generates all of the ticketing. As many of you know, there's the billing main, and this is the main screen that we use to access, the last 10 customers that we've touched. And the ticketing main will basically show you an overall view of all open tickets that are there. I'm going to go through each one of these boxes here. Your ticketing main and somebody else's ticketing main are going to look different. It's customized for you, and you can customize your own RT interface to display only certain things or vice versa. You can display a lot more than just what this is. This is the generic view of them. The top one here is, it says 10 highest priority tickets that I own. I will go through and show you on the ticketing level actually how you own a ticket. So I have one particular ticket that I have owned, and I have this open. Lots of times if I want to make sure that I kind of follow up on a ticket later or check to make sure that something was done correctly, I'll just kind of own the ticket, and I can kind of monitor that as it goes through the process. Then the bottom portion here is the 10 newest unowned tickets. So these are all tickets for all entities that we have. So if it's a maintenance queue, it's a help desk repair. If it is a customer asking about a billing question, if it's a voicemail, anything that generates a ticket throughout all of the companies is going to show up right here. You can currently see that there are 70,190 tickets. That was the last ticket was created 14 minutes ago, and it's a that's in billing issue, and it was undelivered mail returned to sender, which means that we either have a bad address or it's considered spam. So there is there's a couple different things here. If you click on this, it will bring up the ticket number. If you click on this, it'll bring up the ticket number. You can't click here; it just tells you what queue it belongs in. The status is considered new, and I'll go through all the different types of statuses here in just a little bit. There's the 14 minutes ago, how long ago the ticket is, how old the ticket is. There is a take button. This take allows you to be able to create ownership of that ticket. It will still stay in the same queue as it is. It just allows you to say, you know what, I'm going to fix that ticket, and that's mine. Okay, so it tells other people that you are currently working on that ticket. Then the last updated is it is possible that it could be, these would not be in necessarily the right order, because it's possible that Brandon might have went and modified this WJM documents. He might have replied back to it 30 minutes ago. So this might have a different date, so that it's not necessarily chronologically in order based upon how old they are. Then underneath that is quick ticket creation. I really try to avoid using this feature, and I really discourage pretty much anybody from using this feature, because that way we can actually have things emailed in and you have record that you sent it in. So that way if we say, well, did you even do this? Maybe, maybe not. If you've got your own sent items that you can reference for history. Without, in your email box, you've got sent items. Now I'm not saying that you can't use this ticketing system, it just boils down to the fact of you have no record of it if you use your email as your own. What's that? Okay, if this is here. Okay.
Like for help desk.
Yeah.
But you'll still have to link it to the account.
You still have to link it.
Feature. See, I go to the customer and then I make it under them, so it's already linked. Is that all right as well?
I mean, it's realistically, you can do it that way.
Because if I'm having to go there anyway, to link it, I might as well just link it there.
You can do it that way. There's the refresh. This page will automatically refresh so often. You can have it refresh every 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. And right now it's set to do not refresh this page. So if you have this page all day long, it's not going to change. Okay, unless you tell it to. In the top right is my reminders. When I go through and all these ticket things, you can actually go through and see. You can set reminders to go back and look at a particular ticket. and these are only your reminders. These are no one else's reminders. And underneath that is the quick search. These show, I have access to all queues, so I have a lot more queues than what you do. So when I hear other people that say I've got lots of tickets or I got lots of things to check, I check them all the time. So I just kind of keep an eye out on how many things are where. So that is the quick search. Any questions at this point?
Yeah. On that quick search,
Yeah.
can you find is there a button like you can put in like what you're looking for so you can find something?
I'll show you where the search is here in just a little bit.
How do you put it under my reminders?
I'll show you when I get to the ticket level. Yeah, it's at the ticket level. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to Benson ABG alerts because there's 3 open one and it's the top one that's there. A ticket is a ticket, whether it's a maintenance ticket or a front desk ticket for them to work on. A ticket is a ticket. They all work the exact same way. As many of you know, I'm trying to get into one billing system. The billing system that I've chosen is Freeside. So I'm trying to get all email responses to customers in the Freeside VRT. I'm trying to get everything into one system. So no matter what customer we're talking to, we have information all at the ready fingertips. Okay, so I have clicked on Benson AVG queue. It says it's found 3 tickets. What that means is in the AVG queue, there are 3 outstanding open tickets. Does that mean that there are more than that, those tickets in that queue? Yeah. Chances are, is if I actually run a report here, there's probably 600, maybe 800 tickets in that queue. Maybe even more than that.
That are not open.
That are not open. That have already been taken care of. These are 3 tickets that have not been dealt with. And I can tell that they have not been dealt with because the last owner last updated was nobody. Okay? So this is the ticket number. This is the subject line that was sent into or put in as the message subject. This right here where it says subject, it's blank because there is no customer attached yet. Status is new, how old the ticket is. The Benson AVG alerts is all there. So in this screen, there's an edit search, and I'll go through that when we go through a little bit more searching. But there's an advanced where you can also do some more advanced things, and I'll do that when we go through the search. There's show results. The show results does exactly, if I click on show results, it's going to pull up the same exact 3 tickets. But if there was a change, so let's say, for example, Brenda, you watched the customer service ticket queue. You have that screen pulled up. The easiest way, you could hit refresh. That's one way to do it. Or you could just hit show results, and it'll show you if there's any new ones that have popped in since that time.
Are these people who have the APG and get the alerts, so they're just letting us know?
We have software that runs on the customer's PCs, and it tells us if there's a problem at that customer site.
Okay.
Right now, it does not say who that customer is, other than BC-SYR-2010-0261. So I would have to, in order to link that customer, and I'll do that here in a second, I have to actually search for that customer and link it. It doesn't send in that information, excuse me, when it comes in. So this is this computer, this Don, whatever it is, I have no clue who that is, and we'll have to, it'll actually show you. Okay. So there is a bulk update, and I'm going to go over bulk update here in just a little bit when I go to show you all the different statuses that you can do. There is chart, and there is calendar. I'll click on chart here real quick. This actually shows you in a graphical format that there's 3 tickets there. But what you can do is you can actually have it show you how many are open, how many are stalled, things like that. Right now, if you see down here, it says there's Benson AVG alerts and status equals new, or status equals open, or status equals stalled. And we can change these queues by properties. So that's what that one is. The really cool feature is calendar. So if I click on calendar, it shows you in a calendar format when those tickets were created. And those are just the open tickets. Those are the same 3 tickets. So if we want to, I can go back to, let's look at, I'll go to ticketing main, one that I know that has some, what's that? Maintenance. There you go. I'll open up Corey's.
Where's Corey at?
Corey's queue. What's that? Good job. Well, as soon as this loads up here. Okay, so then I will open up maintenance. He currently has 79 tickets open.
It's gonna take a whole hour for that to load.
Yep. So it basically explains how old the task is. 11 months, 10 months, 9 months, 7 months, 6 months, etc. But if I click on the calendar feature, it will show you what was created today.
Can you go back a month?
Yes, you just click the July button. Now this is only showing you what's open, not the result. So you can see where things are and how often things happen. It's just kind of it's a useful tool for looking things up and because like sometimes if you have a bunch of tickets, we're like, well, I know this happened here. I can go back. Now what I'll show you here in a little bit is you can actually adjust this so it will show you all open tickets and closed tickets. So if you want to see what happened on July 11th, you can actually see all things that happened on July 11th.
How do you do that?
I'll show you here when we get to the search feature. Okay, then there is what's called feeds, and I'm sure probably what most people have been familiar with is RSS, and it allows you to be able to view this in an RSS feed. Most people in this room will not necessarily use this. So what I eventually would like to get to the point of, and this is long term, is I would like to eventually start to use the calendar for our on-sites. Rather than using a separate calendar, I want to use all in one system. But it's going to take some work to get to that point. So we're not duplicating work. So anyway, so that's where we are right now. Any questions up to this point? Back. I'm going to open up one of these tickets here. I don't think it matters. This is a kitchen ventilation blower. So this is just this has the same view for all tickets. If you have access to the maintenance queue, which I believe everybody has access to the maintenance, I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure they do. There are lots of different sections up here to look at, but the nuts and bolts is the information down here in the history, which you guys have seen numerous times. However, let's start out with the basics, because that's the basics. It's a good place to start. So if I click on the basics, there are a couple different things that can be done. As soon as it loads up. Okay, so the subject shows up as kitchen ventilation blower. I could go in here and change this to Andrew's apartment at the end of it. I could choose to do that. The status is new and unchanged. The difference between new, unchanged, and new is the fact of new, unchanged means nobody has done anything with it. New means that it's still considered a new ticket and somebody's touched it. Open means it's just currently open and being worked on. Stalled means nobody has touched it in a specifically long time period, which means right now I believe that we actually have to manually click stalled. I don't believe we have any processes in place where it would automatically go to stalled. Resolved means resolved, rejected means sent back because we're not doing it, or we're not going to do this, and then deleted means it will delete it. Zach, Do they only have access to delete their own ticket, or does anybody have access to delete tickets?
No, not hardly anybody.
That's what I thought. Okay. Okay. So the deleted ticket, if I click on deleted and hit save changes, it will delete it because I have access to delete it. But if you click on deleted and you hit save changes, it'll show up a little yellow bar right up here. It says permission denied. So, but okay, so that you can change the different statuses to. You do have permission to resolve it. So if all of a sudden Andrew's blower starts working again, he can go in here and resolve his own ticket. Okay? The queue is simply in the maintenance queue. If I wanted to say, well, this kitchen ventilation blower has absolutely nothing to do with maintenance, and it's sysadmin's job now to fix that problem, I can click on sysadmin, hit save changes, and now that queue is now in the sysadmin folder. Does that make sense? What did I say?
It's a queue.
Sorry. Okay. Ticket. I'm not going to do that, but I could. The owner is Andrew Wood because that's who created the ticket. The estimated time estimated. Usually, when we don't utilize this feature pretty much for anything, to my knowledge. But the time worked when Corey gets done working on a task, he actually puts in how much time he spent working on that task. I highly recommend you use that feature because eventually we will start to use that to track how long tickets are taking to be resolved, things like that, and how much time is left, priorities and final priority. We will start utilizing these once we get to an escalation queue, and that escalation queue is coming within the next couple of months. So it'll stay in a certain queue for so long, and then what'll happen, it'll go to somebody that becomes a banshee, and they're gonna basically write on that person until the task is done. So, but we have not established the priorities or how we're going to handle that type of system yet. So, but it is coming. So that is the basic screen. Underneath the basics is customers. Right now you can see that Andrew Wood is a customer because he actually lives in one of the apartments that we have. So when he emailed into that, or when created that ticket, it was created under Andrew Wood, the customer. So if I click on that edit customer, these are the current customers. You can have multiple tickets, or you can have one ticket assigned to multiple customers, or just one ticket assigned to one customer. If I wanted to disassociate this ticket with this customer, I would hit checkbox and hit save changes. Once I did that, it would no longer, I'll do that real quick so that you can see it. It'll take this away, and so his account will no longer be linked with, this is medium. So it says trying to delete base, whatever, member of. Ticket 70023 is no longer a member of 5729. So if I go back to that ticket, if I click on display, what was his ticket number? 5729 or customer number? He's no longer attached to a customer. Okay, so if I click on, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and attach this. I'm going to search in Andrew Wood. I'm going to click and go. I could also attach it via a find service, so you could type in the phone number, and it will also allow you to be able to link that customer. So Andrew has two. Why do you have? Is it the second one? What's this for? Is this a test?
That's Casey Online.
That's my KC. I run the building system for KC.
Testing.
Just on my one line, KC access.
Okay. Okay. So what I would do is, if you wanted to find out if this was which customer it was, you could just click on this customer, or click on this customer, and we'll take you to the base or the billing on Freeside. It would. You would just click on. I would hover over this and click on this. If I wanted to associate, I could associate this maintenance ticket with both customers. I don't need to, but I'll just click it to, because this is for his apartment. So once I hit save changes, it links that customer together. Good old MediaCom.
Yep, come
Okay, so now it says the results. Ticket number 70023 is now a member of 5271. Now, if I click on customer number, I'm going to actually click on this and put it in a new window. I could just click on it, left click, but I right clicked and then opened a new window. But here's his account. Here is his, if I go to tickets, it will show all tickets that is associated with Andrew's account. I will tell you that I have asked Freeside for a mod to fix this so it does things in order, because as you can see it does not do anything in order. I think unless it does it by the priority. But the problem is you can't adjust, you can't sort by anything. You could click on, you could create a new ticket at this level, you could view open stall, or you can view all resolved. This shows basically everything.
So it only shows what's new.
What's that? Okay. Because it doesn't, did it used to show
It
resolved?
used to show resolve
Okay.
also.
Okay.
But if you got into a customer that had a bunch of tickets, it was a mess. So now it only,
Okay.
if you want to see the result, you have to.
You have to click on resolved. Is it sorting it by priority? Is that what it sorts by? Because it's a pain in the butt. I would prefer to sort by date, so you can at least see what's the oldest, but wow, 25 tickets in here? Holy cow.
He's demanding. He's needy.
Very, very.
I think he just needs to click randomly.
Yeah, at this level, you're absolutely right. You can sort it at this level. Okay, so that's how you link a customer's account to a ticket.
Yeah, reminds me of the fair.
Pretty much.
Well, that's why you guys like to have your own mobile hotspot.
Is that what it is?
I can sell you one today.
Yeah, the mobile hotspot, the 4G and 3G was all overloaded and nothing worked.
I know.
You wouldn't even have phones.
Nobody's phone worked.
They said mine did.
Mine does.
Seriously.
What'd you have? 80 years old?
She, I think that she has.
I have Bill's old phone, and it worked fine.
All right, so we now know how to link this customer. This water line issue has no customer to link. But if it is a customer that is in a tenant up in Fort Wayne, we like to link that ticket to that customer's account. So if you're looking at this, it is each and every one of us' responsibility to link a customer's account. So if you're looking at a ticket and it's not linked to a customer, and it has to do with a customer, link it.
I think that should be the rule with updating the account too.
What do you mean?
Well, if you get a new contact name, if you're talking to someone.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, number, contact numbers and names, like.
Absolutely.
You know,
This is people. You can click on people and it will show you information of like you can modify people that relate to 27823. Eric is the requester. I can remove him as the requester by clicking on that box, and it will disassociate him as a requester on there. I can add a new watcher, and a watcher is somebody that gets notified anytime that a ticket is modified.
I got a notification. You just did the maintenance thing for the blower. I got a notification.
Oh, really?
I was like, how am I getting an email?
Okay, so anyway, that is, yeah, I know. So you have the flexibility of adding yourself to be notified on that. Modify who receives mail for ticket number 27823. These users will actually receive email. I don't know why Margaret's there.
Why
But-
would there get to?
Because he has two email addresses.
It's what?
It's professional.
Yeah, it's that important. All right. So most of the time you really won't use people. I mean, I can think of maybe one or two times that I've used it since I started working on this. More about the requester. This is a cool feature for like network clients and stuff that email us in. So anytime that Eric, this is all the time, these are all the tickets that Eric Wiggs has submitted. In that queue, correct. So it just shows the 10 highest priority active tickets, inactive tickets, or all tickets for Eric Dudley's. So on the right-hand side is your reminders. You can put a subject, and then your name would automatically be highlighted there. And then you would hit the due date that you want to be reminded of. And then that due date would automatically show up in your main ticketing screen.
It does not send you an email.
It will not send you an email.
No, you have to do it.
Shows up.
Yes.
That's ticketing screen.
Andrew just said that you can select other people to be reminded, and it will then go to their reminders.
That's funny.
If they use reminders, I mean, some people here today didn't even know that reminder section was even there. So to set somebody else a reminder, if they're not utilizing that reminder system, then that doesn't
The
really
reminder
matter.
only on the open tickets, or can you use that?
No, it does it on resolve.
It does not resolve.
It does not go away until you.
Correct.
Okay.
So here are the dates. There's the date section here. And it basically says the start dates. You can set a start date if you want. You can have when you started working on the ticket, the last contact, the due date, the resolve after. I mean, if you, we don't really get that particular in some of these tickets, but it allows you to be able to. The links, you can have it, so like you can have this ticket depend on another ticket. Or you could have it be dependent upon something else. Or you can have parents to this ticket. So really this is a child ticket, and there's another overall bigger picture ticket, and it's just one portion of the ticket. A prime example of that would be Corey, build the gazebo. That would be a parent ticket, and then we can have child tickets, run the water line, run the electric line, run buy lumber, all of those type of tickets. And you could have those all independent upon
And so,
each other.
if, what I was just thinking of today, for example, if you open a child ticket and the parent ticket resolves, the child ticket still remains open.
Right.
It can be worked in that.
It will just link it and say, hey, when I'm going to these links, it's like, oh, it looks like there's another ticket associated with this. I can go click on that ticket and see what it's all about.
See what's what, yeah.
Okay? So, and you could actually just, by clicking on create, it will actually create that ticket. It allows you to say, have a hyperlink and click on that ticket. Okay, any questions about this stuff in the gray box area? Okay. Then you come down here to history. And this means that Eric.Wiggs created this ticket. This is the subject line, this is the date, it looks just like an email. He sent that to maintenance@benplicker.com, and it was from Eric.Wiggs. This is what was in the body of that email. Is this information right here? Sometimes you will get a message that says, I think it says too big or unable to view or something like that. Then what happens is you can actually click download unentitled, and it will allow you to view that in its entirety with basically just text. So if you ever get that message it's too big or can't view or something like that, you just hit download and it'll show you that information. Does that make sense? Okay? I should just start hyperlinking open in Windows.
How do you hide the tickets?
How do you what?
Some of them in there says hide tickets. So you click on it.
You're talking about when you reply to a ticket?
Somebody replies, and shrink it up so you don't have to see what you already seen.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. On the reply. Says, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, see, because I spend a lot of time reading, body of the text,
Okay.
starting mine.
Okay. So here are two steps that Freeside took. So this was the first thing where it came into the system. The second was, it says RT system itself, outgoing email recorded. So you're like, what the heck does that mean? Whereas you know, when you send in a ticket, you get an auto response. And what'll happen is if you hit show, it'll show you that exact message that was sent to who. So you have to kind of look through it because this is a whole bunch of mail server information. But the RT originator was Eric, auto replied to Eric, and it says, thank you for contacting maintenance. That was sent to him. So then you're like, well, why are there two? So if I click on show for the other one, this shows it was sent to, this was originated from eric.wiggs. It was sent to the pager number for maintenance, sent to bplickard@bensoncom.com, sent to Eric Wiggs, Jay Johnson, Margaret Truman. And I'm sure there's probably some other ones if I scroll over to the right, maybe not. Nope. So then it sent, this is what actually got sent. So while Eric sent that in, I also got notified that he sent that in. I'm an admin watcher on a lot of tickets, so I can see what's going on and make sure that they're actually getting worked on. And that's what that admin watcher is I'm BCC'd on that ticket. So let's see. So that is that. So anytime that you reply to a ticket, it will have an outgoing email recorded to that as well. So, okay, so I'm going to go, I want to make sure that everybody understands what the difference between reply and comment are. If I click on reply, I'll tell you what, actually, up in Fort Wayne, Freeside is pretty fast. I was pleasantly surprised about how fast it was yesterday. What's that? What did you do?
I managed the Freeside.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's some funny crap.
Okay, so in this reply screen, reply means it's going to get sent to the original person that created this ticket. That's what reply means. If you want to make a note on the account and you don't want that, that's really out of focus.
Or it's going to the customer, right?
What's that?
Or it's going to the customer.
How do you keep it from going to the customer, or how to go to the customer?
Keep it.
From going, then you would want to have it as a comment.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, if you make a reply to the customer and you're saying bad things, you better watch out.
Yeah, exactly.
Comment.
Yeah, comments what we want to say in secret.
Now, what I do,
Can I make a point
yeah,
here?
absolutely.
If the background is red,
Yeah.
it's going to the customer. If the background is white,
Oh, that's a good one.
That's great.
Now, does that do that in all browsers? I don't think that does it in all browsers.
It does in Firefox, I know that.
Firefox, I know. I want to say Internet Explorer doesn't do that with, but
Yeah,
does it? You use IE?
I do.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I had
Where's the
trouble.
company
I can't even do anything.
I had to run reports in Firefox for Bell.
All right, we'll look at that. Anyway, so what I do is I always delete this information.
wait a minute.
What's that?
You always delete the information?
I do.
Yeah, and then we retype what you want to put in.
Yeah.
Why? If somebody gets an email from that ticket,
Mhm.
they
Well,
don't have
if-
the history
It's nice
unless
to
they go
have.
into the ticket.
Correct. You're absolutely right about that. If I was replying to a customer, I would come down here
Yeah.
and do that. I wouldn't, but like for like the maintenance and stuff like that, I don't, I just
Yeah, if I
usually
make
delete that
C
kind
on
of
it,
stuff.
As somebody that is in the tickets quite a bit,
Uh-huh.
that's a pet peeve of mine. If I get an email that's a comment on a ticket and the email says, you know, well, change this to something else, now I've got to go back and look up the ticket in order to see what we're talking about. I have no frame of reference, especially if it's an older ticket.
Right. But are you working off of the tickets in the ticket queue, or are you working just off the emails?
Initially, it'll be off email because that's what tells me that something's changed.
Right.
And generally, I do go into the ticket, but again, if that email had some point of reference for me, it sure would help.
Scroll down and just read it.
Yeah,
Okay, were you?
At the same point, when I'm on site, and I get an email and ticket, I can get Freeside on my phone and just see the reply to it. If somebody deleted information that says, blah, blah, blah's down, who's down? It doesn't show any reference, no nothing, I don't know, and I can see
I
it
mean,
going back to the office.
That does make sense. I mean, realistically, what I was trying to do was clean it up so it just didn't. So when you're going through all of that type of stuff, it's duplicating the same information over and over and over and over again. So it depends on if you're only utilizing this system for email.
Where was that
With
truncating
this-
feature?
With the latest version of Freeside, any of that quoted information is compressed down, and you have to actually click on it in the web interface to see the quoted.
I have noticed that, what does it say?
Show quoted
Yes,
text. It's
it
a
does,
very
it
nice
compresses
feature.
it,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Okay. So then if that's the case, that's fine. I just want to make sure that we are standard on how, if we want to keep that in there, I'm completely fine with that. That's fine. But what I really want to make sure of is that we respond to the information of that. This,
It goes at the top,
this
not
quoted-
below it.
This quoted text.
Yes, make
The
sure
most
it's top.
recent.
The
Yeah,
most recent.
most recent's on top.
So just come into the top, and because I've seen it, I've literally seen this when we replied to people before.
I know.
So when you see, and not necessarily that, but I'm just, yeah.
Where it's at,
So when
people.
you're replying to a customer, what? You know, most of the time, there's nothing replied to, or there's nothing.
Yeah. No,
So-
I know what you mean.
So just make sure that you do it at the top. Okay. You can one-time CC this information. So if you're updating this and you want to email to Eric, and it'll carbon copy Eric for that information, or VCC him, you can do that as well. I would prefer not to have one-time CCs because I get enough CCs on stuff. So
So we don't have to do it.
Can I make another point?
yes, absolutely.
If there's any question as to who's gonna get whatever you're sending, you scroll down to the bottom, it shows you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can turn people off, or
Right.
you can uncheck people, or check.
That was my
So if you
turn.
yeah, you just want to make sure that you know, because you can make this window do the exact same thing as a comment if you truly wanted to. But I mean, it's just because all it does is it has some standard defaults on who gets carbon copied and who gets notified.
Well, that lets you know too, like, you need to let your be aware of this. Look, it's already being made aware, so you don't have to.
Correct. Okay. You can attach files at this stage. You can hit the browse button, and you can actually attach a document or shortcut or documents. Here we go. They're not being. We're not here. It's not mine. Anyway, so you just click on that and it will attach that document. It'll attach it as it hits save. Is there a cap on the file size for attaching documents? Do
You know what I do?
I do
When-
know.
when I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kind of looks at me like, whatever.
Yeah. So do you see where it says the update type? This is going to reply to the custom requesters or comments. It's going to not be sent to the requesters. The status, you can change the status right there. You can reply to the customer and resolve it all at one step.
So if you resolve a ticket while you're in here, you'll go ahead and process.
Yeah, when I click on, if I click on resolved, and if I type in, you know, all the information on this ticket, you
Like
know,
if I was communicating.
I installed the new water line today, and we need to reroute. I also rerouted all the text lines. You know, that's. I can do that, and I click resolve. It will hit. If I hit update ticket, it will then change that ticket. I put now Corey. He updates. I have him work on all the minutes, how much time he spent, hours, or whatever it is on that ticket. Okay, questions, comments?
Now, the resolve this ticket on, that's the auto resolve,
It will auto resolve the ticket. Yep.
which we don't normally do unless there's specified reasons for doing that.
Right.
So unless you make sure it's resolved, don't make it auto resolve. That's causes confusion.
So if you had a fair schedule of who's to work the fair, you can resolve that on the last day.
Correct. Something like that.
Okay, questions on that screen? So then if I click on comment,
What if you're in
then we would want to merge the tickets together.
Can you show us something?
Yeah, once I get out of this. So then you would want to, you could comment on a ticket. The comment ticket, do you see how this screen, it looks almost very similar except for what Zach pointed out, the fact that this is not red? See how it automatically VCCs, but the requester is not here anymore. And in the addition, comments not sent to requester is the one that's defaulted. So it's the same looking box, you just have to be very, very, very diligent in making sure that you're looking at what you're doing. Don't just do it. Look at what you're actually sending and what checkboxes are doing. Because the computer is going to do exactly what you told it to do. There's no one to blame but yourself for not making sure that you click on comments or reply requests.
Can I make another point?
Absolutely.
If you click on reply or comment that's above an actual entry in the ticket, you get the quoted text in the box. If you go up to actions and choose reply or comment, you don't get the quoted text.
And what's that?
So like what he just said is where I clicked on down here in the history, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know what I'm doing.
Pretty sure, and don't question me, I know what I'm doing all in one sentence. Okay, so so there's reply and there's comment, there's also forward. What Zach said is if you click on reply here, it will put the,
All
are
the
those
stuff.
carrots?
Asterisks?
The quoted text. It will put the
Quoted text.
quoted text on there. If you click on up the top where the actions button are, you can hit, just hit reply.
And then you don't quote it.
So we'll have the prior stuff.
Yes, as soon as it shows up here.
Or it wouldn't show up. Doesn't matter.
I love MediaCom. It's the best internet in the freaking world.
Oh yeah, especially when it goes down.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
What did they upgrade? They have 2 fiber lines coming into the entire state of Indiana now?
They hired Harry. They hired Harry.
They hired Harry too. That's an upgrade.
That's an upgrade.
So anyway, that's right. See, it's not there. The information's not there. Okay. Underneath actions is you can forward it, you can open it, resolve it, reject it, delete it. As we've discussed before, you probably don't have access to delete it, but it's still an option there. You can take it.
Take ownership
as well. Okay. What else were we? Is there anything else on that other screen back there? The history? Is there a what?
Is there a like button?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. It's just not. It's in the next
You
version.
think I'm joking? You click on the star and you always get to see that.
That's your like button.
Yeah, there you go.
That's your like.
All right. So here is.
Don't rock our boat.
That's exactly. I am having a rough time here of it, trying to remember where the links. Where you join tickets, is that in the links?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there it is. Okay, I was just having a hard time remembering where it was. So let's say, for example, link ticket. You saw how I got the link tickets, right? Okay. You would literally, let's say, for example, Beth says there's 2 tickets that have the same thing. What you do is you can link one ticket into the other one. See where it says merge into?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What if you have, like, let's say 5 tickets from one customer,
Mhm.
let's say JC Pontoon, for example, they have several complaints.
It's
or
all about the same issue.
not the same issue.
Then
but
you don't join them together.
You can't join the other.
You do not. It's separate issues where you need to be
Separate
separate tickets. But if there are 5 tickets, my internet's out, 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 from all attorneys, then you merge all of those tickets together. You don't resolve them separately, you just merge them together. Does that make sense? So all I would do is I would type in whatever ticket number and then I would hit save changes, and it will merge them in.
And you just clicked on links and then.
Yep,
brings it.
yep, just hit the links.
Okay.
Once you do it,
And it's-
Correct. Yeah, once you do it here, it's,
Well,
Yeah, you can undo it.
today Brian said just
That
in time
with,
is the
like,
process
parents and
one,
kids
and
and
then
all
as
that
the
kind of
additional one.
Different.
And I just need to process.
I'll let him do
yep,
that.
you just link them together and it lets create those confusions. But that's for the same ticket, or, you know, the same issue
She's talking
in
about.
two separate tickets.
What about accounts? Customer accounts.
Oh, merge accounts? Yeah, and you know how to merge accounts, so.
John asked a good question. It's what is the difference between linking a ticket and the relationship of a parent and child ticket?
Well, basically a parent-child ticket versus linking ticket is where the parent-child is create the gazebo, and then the child ticket is run the plumbing, do all of that little stuff. Or, you know, and then the linking or the merging the tickets is my internet's out, my internet's out, my internet's
So
out.
I could have like, for a server setup, you could have like different steps and resolve, like if you can get like a project done all in one day or one, you know, you could resolve the ticket as you're making progress on the
Are you
job.
talking like
That's
an
what you're
example of
saying.
Fenn and Brown saying, hey, we need
Yeah,
to straighten
yeah.
the network up, and then first step is do
Yeah,
topography, and the second step
exactly.
is set
Correct.
this up. That would be a child-parent
It's
relationship.
usually like you can't finish this until this
Yeah.
is done.
Correct.
And then after that, you can resolve
Correct.
that.
It's a way of you keeping track of all the different steps that need to be done.
If you merge the tickets, it becomes one long ticket. All the history comes into one ticket. Every
Everything.
child, they're still separate tickets. They're just having a section.
Correct. And if you have comments and timestamp, then they merge that.
It does them in
When you
order.
talk, it puts it right next to order.
Yeah.
So you make it a little,
Right. I really want to make sure that we get a lot better at merging tickets and, joining, or those, because there's lots of times where there's multiple issues of the same thing coming in, and realistically, those, and the customers are not necessarily smart, they don't see in our system. If a customer with KC Online's having problems, they'll email us 6 times. Well, we
Slow
need to
speed,
merge
slow speed,
all
slow
of
speed,
those
slow
together into one ticket. We don't resolve this one and then resolve this one and resolve this one. We just merge them together, and because it's all the same issue.
Now, do you foresee like different departments being able to have like viewable rights throughout across the company? Like, let's say if somebody calls Benson, say KC Online, for example, or whatever the case may be, will we eventually get to a point where we can view tickets across the boards? So if like one department can have viewable rights and another one?
Probably not. I mean, realistically, if somebody's job, like Brenda has access to view Benson tickets. And I believe that, the people that need to see other tickets can.
I just know that there is a small case where KC Online customers get Benson mixed up, and they think that that's their service that they're paying for.
They do.
I'm just like, you're not paying for the service.
Right. So then it leaves you kind of in the dark because you don't have a way of looking up anything.
And I can't make comments on the ticket either that they called in. That they need,
If you run into an issue where you need to be able to note on a ticket and you can't, put it on the help desk. So.
Plus, normally, if it's them, you usually can't do anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but and Ben's philosophy is document everything. So if you don't have access to it, how can you document it? You see what I'm doing?
That's correct. The only other thing that I wanted to go over today was the advanced features where you can search for tickets and things like that. So if you click on, as soon as I get there here, it's under reports. Everybody has the reports of.
there's advanced access to customer.
This one, right? Yep, right here. Yeah, this is available on everybody's screen, right? Sometimes it's hard for me to remember what's where. So if you click on advanced, it says query builder.
You were also going to show
Did
add
you
line.
click on reports
Yeah, right.
first, or just go to advanced?
I just clicked on advanced.
Okay.
That's all I did is just clicked on advanced. If you search in, if you type in the ticket number or the subject or the email and hit search tickets, it will also search for that. But if there's something specific that you want to look for, as soon as it loads, I'll show you what options are. What's that? I come up here and type in a ticket number all the time.
Yeah,
All the time. I mean, that's,
yeah, that's how I do.
Or you
But
just customer names.
do you,
sometimes it's.
oh, to pull up for an address?
Well, if it's in the check and it's not company
It's not-
account, then
Usually on a media account, that was funner.
If it's not attached to the ticket like we noticed earlier,
You mean not attached to a customer?
it's not. You just put that ticket number and that attached to it.
You have to do the.
You have to click on the
And
customer
then you have
tab.
to go to customer.
Okay, it's finally pulled up now. Okay, so this is, for most people, is definitely overwhelming because there's a lot of options here. If you see where the ID number is less than, equal to, or greater than, the ID is the ticket number. So if I wanted to say, if that ticket number is less than 50,000, it will only search for tickets under 50,000. So the more of those things that you can add in there, the faster, if there's a lot of things that you have to look through, you can narrow it down. You can do the subject matches or doesn't match. The queue is in, I think that ticket was in the maintenance queue. And the status is equal to, I don't know. I don't know if it's open or resolved, or so if I don't know, just leave it blank. The owner, I don't know who the owner is. The requester, I don't know who created it. I don't even know when it was created.
For example, can be the subject, if you put in blower.
Yep, I was actually gonna use the gazebo, but yeah.
Yeah, but the date's kind of nice if you resolve the ticket.
If you could have it by date, yes.
Patrick and I've had that for ages.
Correct. So I'm going to search for this, and it's going to look all through the subject lines for blower and in the maintenance queue. So I'm going to add these terms.
So it will search for all open,
And then we
new,
gotta
and
wait for it to load
resolved,
again.
basically every ticket that has that, has ever been in the maintenance queue for that. That work.
Tickets get to the lead.
They will, but they basically just delete to us. Right now. Hey Bill, I found out who's been stealing your pins. Your golfing buddy.
Guilty party.
9 o'clock.
Oh, there's a fine for that.
Well,
I got it.
Yeah.
I think I took this one off them.
Yeah, at least he admits to it.
It's loaded.
All right, so the current search is this right here.
Bill says, so Bill says.
So it's going to look in the queue for maintenance and the subject line like blower. Now I could have hit add these terms and search, but I wanted to actually show you what happened is because I can go back here and actually modify and add another one of these if I wanted to. But I'm just going to say update format and search. You can sort it by certain things. So if you're doing something, you got to go through a whole bunch of stuff. You can look at that. So you can see there's one ticket found where it matches blower, and that was in the maintenance queue. And the status is still new. So you just got to be patient for that query builder to load. And as you saw, the search itself didn't take very long. Because I think, does it pull all that information to the local database? Is that why that query builder takes so long?
Well, first it's gonna pull a bunch of stuff from that, so it's gonna grab a list of all the queues,
Okay,
a bunch of other,
it's pulling all that. Okay.
just to be able to build a form.
Oh, I understand. That makes sense. So that is that. Is there anything in RT that we did not cover that you want to cover?
Eric showed me the other day how to actually move a ticket from one queue to another. Like if somebody put it off discount accident,
Yep, we went over that. We went over that a little bit ago.
Yep.
That's under the basic screen. Yeah. If you click on the basics, if you accidentally put it into the help desk or you put it into the sysadmin queue and it should have went to the maintenance queue, then you can literally click on the basics, click on the maintenance, and save changes.
That button, you do have a comment on it, I believe, for the notice.
It'll still move it.
It'll move it, but it won't send any
Won't notify,
notices.
Correct.
Correct. But like Corey, he looks at every ticket every day.
It's not a help desk ticket,
Yeah.
that could be the difference between
Right.
being
Do
down.
you ever go cross-eyed?
Right.
Not even being down.
Correct.
So yes.
I know this contract doesn't work in.
When you click on what now?
Go into display.
Yeah. Well, that's Firefox that does that.
It works in Chrome too.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you use Firefox, a better browser than Internet Explorer, you also have the feature if you misspell something, Firefox will show you that it's misspelled with a little red wavy line.
How do you set that up?
How do you spell it? Firefox? It does it on its own.
Well, Firefox was timing out all the time on me too, so that's why.
Operator error, I'm sure.
LB error.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Just put it on the help desk.
I did, and Bob came down
Yeah.
and he just set my settings more advanced on Outlook so I could run reports I needed to do and all that. That's his resolution.
All right.
There are a lot of sites, especially with the carriers like CenturyLink and Quest,
Yep.
where you have to use iCloud.
Yes, I agree. And that's why I always have two browsers open on my desktop at all times. One's Firefox, one's Internet Explorer.
Yeah, I was doing that. And I just kept timing, you know.
Yeah, I use Freeside and Firefox because I honestly believe it runs faster.
All right, then that's
And
fine.
something about the
I've
download.
had trouble also on help desk.
Because Internet Explorer wants to go out and do a whole bunch of crap while you're searching for stuff. And,
And it freezes up.
yeah.
It freezes up.
So it's because it's sending all kinds of data to Microsoft while you're doing stuff. And Firefox doesn't do that much. Yeah. All right. I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover today. Zach, do you know of anything that I missed in RT?
One of the things that I would point out is the ticketing preferences up at the top.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yep.
Um,
So in the top right is the ticketing preferences. And this is your settings, just yours. It will have a default queue that you can have it set to. Let me scroll down here. It allows you to be able to change your system default short names, name and email addresses, autocomplete. There's different themes, and these are, it's the layout, isn't it?
yeah, I would suggest leaving that one alone. I've run into problems using the other themes.
Okay. And then it basically, search results, refresh intervals. Remember seeing that screen before where it automatically will do that? The date formats, the mails, the outgoing mails.
Yeah, are you catching that?
Yep.
Right now, by default, it does not email you when you update a ticket, but if you turn that on, then you get the same update that you posted to the ticket. So you might want that, I don't know.
RT, the homepage refresh interval, ticket composition, use 2 columns layout to create and update forms. You get the WYSIWYG. It's basically the message composer. It allows you to have HTML.
If you're having a weird display area, you can switch it to disable that, and it'll go back to plain text.
The one that I find most useful, and again, this is personal preference, is under the ticket display, show coldness history first. What that does is that puts, I have mine set to no, which means that the newest updates are at the very top. I don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom to see the newest stuff. But it means if you're trying to read the history in order, you've got to read from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? That one is
That's ticketing preference, and then it says under ticket display, show oldest history first.
And if you set that to no, it was the newest at the top.
Yep.
Cheers.
So I'm glad you pointed that out.
That's a good one.
I don't use that, but I know I know other people do, so.
Another real helpful one is right at the bottom, display ticket after quick create. If you use that quick create function, it'll push you right into the ticket, so then you can assign it to the customer or whatever.
I'm gonna have to do that. That's awesome. So
Okay.
you're saying that you would select on the radio button yes.
Yep.
Right?
Right there.
Yes.
Because the default is no.
Ah, use default. I see.
Okay. I'm good.
The only other thing I
Yeah.
want to say is something probably coming down the pipe, we haven't really discussed it, but I know it's becoming available, is articles. Where if we have a common reply that we want to give to a customer, like, how to troubleshoot their wireless connection or whatever, we can put that in as an article, and then when somebody sends a ticket request and says, hey, my wireless drops every so often, rather than having to type out or go and attach a file, we can just search the articles for Wi-Fi troubleshooting and attach it to the ticket.
Does it? Yeah. It won't automatically give the top so many ticket auto. I know some ticketing systems will say, I noticed that you had these keywords in your thing. These are some.
It doesn't have that as far as I'm aware. And like I said, we really haven't delved into the article system yet, but I know it's going to be available soon. Let's start to see the.
One other thing that I just got notice of, I'm sure you probably saw that email too, that a Freeside is in the process of getting ready to turn up a new mod that will have a quotation system in Freeside. So if we're wanting to do a quote for a customer, you can do it right in Freeside. You don't actually have to create an invoice to bill anything out, it'll actually create a quote. So.
Benson guys respond to use the old, well, we still have to use the
No, because if this mod doesn't meet our needs, I'll actually have them mod that mod and expand upon it.
So it'll work for
So realistically, what I'm trying to do is get into one system. I don't have multiple anything.
We don't have like Excel, we don't have to do all that
Correct.
other stuff. So we're going to be able to enter in our products.
Yep.
It's going to calculate what we'd like to sell our product for.
Correct.
Awesome, I like that.
So I know that's coming down the pipeline. I don't know.
I hope it gets here tomorrow.
It won't be here tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah, I get a lot
Okay.
of quotes.
Thanks for the pizza. You guys can stop by.